Video is obviously an increasingly prominent medium in higher education pedagogy. Gone are those days where an instructor just put on a video and the students watched or perhaps snoozed through the whole thing. Now, whether we use video for online, flipped, blended, or traditional courses, the medium is used to convey knowledge, provide instruction, deliver lectures, improve skills, heighten self-awareness, aid project and presentation development, and of course provide very valuable feedback. At the 2017 annual EDUCAUSE conference, Richard Kulata, who is the CEO of the International Society for Technology and Education, or called ISTE, encouraged leaders to utilize the affordances of technology to create new feedback practices. As he said, quote unquote, feedback is incredibly powerful for changing behavior. Show it back in real time how my performance is doing and where I have opportunities to change and adjust. And that's the perfect segue into this session. Good morning, I'm Sybil Husky, and I'm at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and I'm glad you could join me. And again, I apologize for my technical difficulties. But today we're going to focus on using video for self, peer, and instructor assessment and evaluation. The examples I'm going to share with you today come from my own teaching of dance majors, particularly staging choreography for students to perform, teaching choreographic principles so students can learn to make their own dances, and instructing the oral communication general education goal course where students learn to make meaning and talk about the works of dance, while they combine best practices in public speaking and discipline-specific vocabulary. So at a glance, I'm going to introduce a tool that I use, which is called the Video Collaboratory Platform, and that is the underpinning technology that allows me to do the kinds of self-assessment, peer evaluation, instructor coaching that we'll be talking about. And then we'll have time to summarize and discuss. But I would say that if you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free just to speak out whenever. I'm happy about that. So this platform grew out of a need for small groups to engage with video material that streamlined project development. It started as a research project that combined dance and computer science. The platform evolved to have applications and relevancy in all fields where discussion about video is advantageous. In my own teaching, I have found it especially useful for encouraging student reflection and self-evaluation, also for facilitating peer collaboration and improving my own instructor evaluation of my students' work. As a matter of full disclosure, I was part of that research team that secured a patent for this technology, and I am co-founder of the company that will be commercializing this particular platform. So the affordances that are specific to Video Collaboratory allows you to collaborate and have discussion around video material for either individuals or very small groups. It encourages collaborative studying, coaching, learning outside the classroom, either with yourself, group members, and/or the instructor. And it supports social interaction, creating informal learning communities where students feel comfortable and connected. It's evolving. There are a lot of affordances that we will be adding to this platform, and it is, of course, designed for distributed asynchronous use. It can be used in all educational domains in a variety of very creative ways. But the bottom line is that it really helps students learn and retain from viewing themselves and their peers and articulating comments based on domain knowledge, skills, individual learning goals, and established rubrics. After logging into the Video Collaboratory, which is a web-based system, you see on the left side of the screen all the projects or courses for which you have subscribed. You can then make a separate file for each student in the project folder so that it's easy for them to find and review their work, note areas that might need improvement, and to see their progress over time, since all the videos stay in their file for the entire subscription time. When you click on any of these thumbnails that you see, the video opens to the full screen with the scroll bar and control icons at the bottom and the comment thread at the right-hand side. Video is really a valuable bridge between doing and awareness. There's nothing better to accelerate improvement than seeing oneself on video. I have my students post practice presentations where they can closely examine their delivery and articulate aspects on which to work. In addition to their own critiques, they can get feedback from their peer partners or from me. The student is able to reflect on the quality of the content, the organization, and the oral communication skills. And this allows them then to make really positive changes for their next iteration. Once the final presentation is completed, the student does a thorough self-assessment. I then go in to respond to some of the observations and make additional ones as needed. For instance, the student was concerned about referring to their note cards too much. So I was able to suggest a way to mitigate that problem by simply taking a pause. The best part of viewing student assessment with comments pinned at the moment of the action is that I, as the instructor, readily see not only what the student has accomplished and what they can demonstrate, but it also lets me know what they know, even though what some of the things they know they may not be able to put into practice at this moment. So that's been really valuable for me. Testimonials like this confirm how students benefit from seeing themselves in their progress. I often have my students work with a peer partner or in a small group teams. Having peers comment on work not only helps the student receiving the assistance, who gets input from a different perspective, but it also demands that peers observe carefully. They refer to their knowledge base, and then they write with precision and candor and care. And those are really important. In this screenshot example, this is a solo that Kiana has created. You can see commentary from her peer partner, Julia. Each of her comments in the right column corresponds with her color-coded marker on the timeline, and hovering over a marker brings that comment to the video screen so it can be viewed in the context of that action. I would also like to say that because of this looping feature, when the comment is actually clicked, the video goes directly to that spot, and it keeps looping until the student has been able to really digest that comment. So that's been very helpful and useful for my students. Whether small groups are collaborating on the creation of an original dance work, preparation for a history class presentation, developing a video on how to properly put on a tourniquet, or assisting each other with practice teaching assignments, Being able to work in an asynchronous and distributed manner is advantageous for moving the projects along within everybody's busy schedules. Students can upload material, get feedback from their group members, determine where and what to incorporate or delete, and generally be far ahead of the game at the next face-to-face meeting. This screenshot was from a rehearsal where members viewed and reflected on what they saw and offered helpful commentary. At times, the students even used the platform to self-correct, as in April's note that's on the screen, saying, oh, forgetting which arm I was supposed to be using, or Leah's comment that the specific arm motions could have been clearer in order to look more uniform at this particular moment. So there's a comment that is helpful for the entire group. Again, learning from and with peers is important. Peers have to carefully observe, reflect, and consider their comments. So as in doing that, they're having to synthesize and augment their own knowledge as they give helpful feedback. So it doesn't just benefit the student receiving the information. In fact, indeed, it might be even more helpful to the peer. And certainly for me, seeing these comments, I learn an enormous amount about what they are learning. There's also peer collaboration around rehearsal. In a group of 15 students, everyone has the opportunity to offer ways to improve the project. Having a voice lets students apply their knowledge and skills while really buying in and feeling proud ownership. In this example of a dance rehearsal, 3 students commented on their own performance, noted improvements from previous versions, and made suggestions for things that still needed work. And they did this not just as for their individual self, but perhaps for their smaller group that they were working with or the overall full ensemble. Students are really perceptive about the details of their own performance, whether moving, playing an instrument, giving a speech, or any number of possibilities available with video today. Here you can see a work that was in a 5-performance run, recorded and uploaded after each. Students were free to make self-comments or anything else that would benefit the entire group. This activity really expanded their perceptions and empowered them with their own learning. The activity also built community among these 15 very different students who became very adept in critically commenting while also supporting each other. These are critical skills to learn for the workplace. So having a vehicle in which they could see themselves and comment really contributed to their progress as performers, but maybe even more to their maturity as human beings. Learning from oneself is a great tool to have for our lifelong learning. This is an in-studio rehearsal of a piece specifically created by the students with some instructor guidance. This piece was to be staged in a campus architectural setting and live streamed and broadcast by UNC Charlotte Digital Communications. Note the screen comment that says, that the turns are awkward, especially once we got out into the actual space. We can do more, but we need variation in our traveling steps. Because of using this tool, these students are able to see things that they might not be able to articulate or even be aware of without having that visual feedback. So you'll see my comments along with student responses and suggestions. Thus, in this National Water Dance project, students and instructors were able to work face-to-face and to work via the video collaboratory, creating what became a 30-minute piece. And here you see what it looked like when it was out in the actual site. And that is the YouTube if you would like to watch it. It's very calming and is a really great example of how this tool was used to really create this full piece. So this is the site where the piece was performed and filmed. And there just simply would not have been time within our choreography class time to allow this kind of collaboration with the students. It really had to be done partly in this asynchronous distributed manner. So in summary, students and instructors, whether they're loading up their own videos, linking them from YouTube or Vimeo, the medium of video is playing an increasingly important role in the pedagogy. The video collaboratory platform is one of the tools that make it far more than just watching.